I found the lake by accident one night while chasing quiet. It wasn't on any map. I'd been driving the back roads after a long shift, windows down, cigarette burning slow, just trying to clear my head. The air smelled like pine and wet soil. Somewhere along that dirt trail, my headlights flashed across water through the trees. I almost missed it. Curiosity made me pull over. The brush was thick, almost untouched. I pushed through it until the forest opened up, and there it was. The most peaceful stretch of water I had ever seen. The lake looked ancient, like it had not changed in 1,000 years. Perfectly round, ringed with moss and tall cedar. The moon floated across the surface, so bright it looked like another world beneath me. No houses, no dock, no trash, not even footprints. It felt wrong and right at the same time, like finding a place you were not supposed to find. That night, I sat on a rock and just listened. Crickets, frogs, a far-off owl. No traffic, no voices, nothing man-made. The air was cold enough to sting my lungs, and every breath felt clean. For the first time in years, my thoughts slowed down. I came back the next weekend, this time with a rod and my little aluminum boat. I had to park off the main road and sneak through a line of old no trespassing signs nailed to cedar trunks. They were so faded they barely showed red anymore. Whoever owned this land had not checked on it in decades. I didn't feel guilty. The place looked like it wanted someone to find it. The first time I fished there, I caught 3 fat bass in under an hour. Big enough to brag about, though I never told anyone. The water was crystal dark, calm as glass. Every sound echoed. Even the splash of the line seemed sacred. When I packed up and left, I looked back once and swore the water rippled like it was breathing. From that night on, the lake became my escape. Every Friday after work, I would grab a 6-pack, load the boat, and drive out there. I didn't even care about catching fish after a while. I would just sit and watch the mist roll across the water. Sometimes deer came to drink at the far bank. Once, I saw a fox dart along the tree line. The place felt separate from the world, like the noise of everything else couldn't reach it. I went there through spring, through summer, even when the nights got cool enough for my breath to fog. It became my ritual. Then, about 2 weeks ago, I realized I wasn't alone. It was just after 11. The moon was full, and the air thick with that smell of rain and cedar. When I stepped out onto the shore, something moved on the far side of the water. For a second, I thought it was an animal, but no, it was human. A woman. She was swimming in the lake, her body gliding smooth across the surface. Long dark hair, pale skin that almost glowed under the moon. She moved with an ease that made it seem like the water belonged to her. I called out, "Hey, you know, this is private property, right?" She turned her head slowly, eyes catching the moonlight. "So what? You're still out here too, aren't you?" Her voice carried clear across the lake, low and soft, like she wasn't even trying to be loud. I stood there, unsure how to respond. "I guess you got me there," I said, half laughing. She smiled, then dove under. When she surfaced again, she was closer. "I've seen you here before," she said. "You always sit in that same boat, same spot." I hesitated. "You've been watching me." "Maybe," she said, still smiling. "Maybe not." Her tone had this teasing warmth, something playful and strange. I told myself she was just a local, maybe camping nearby. We talked for a few minutes, about nothing. She asked what I liked about the lake. I said it was quiet, untouched, felt like home. She said she understood that feeling better than I could imagine. That night, when I left, she was still in the water, drifting near the center, her eyes following me as I pushed the boat back to shore. I remember how she smiled, small but knowing, and said, See you soon. The next night, she was there again. After a while, I stopped finding it strange. I would pull up, set my line, and she would be out there, sometimes humming softly, sometimes floating on her back, always right in that same spot. She never came to shore. Not once. Some nights she would talk to me, asking questions that made me pause. "Do you like the sound of still water?" she would say. "Or have you ever wondered what lies underneath when it's this calm?" I would laugh and tell her she was weird. She would just smile and keep swimming slow circles, her hair spreading around her like black ink in the water. I don't know when I started looking forward to her more than the fishing. There was something about her voice, or maybe the way the moonlight seemed brighter when she was near. It made everything else fade. The world outside that lake didn't feel real anymore. Sometimes she would disappear for a few nights, and the lake would feel heavier, almost hostile. The water wouldn't reflect the stars the same way. I would sit there waiting longer than I meant to, hoping to see her head break the surface again. Then, about a week ago, something odd happened. I noticed she never shivered. The water was freezing some nights, but she never seemed cold. Her skin didn't goosebump, her teeth didn't chatter. She just moved through it like it was part of her. When I finally asked about it, she laughed. "Maybe I was made for this place," she said. "Maybe it was made for me." Her eyes lingered on me after that, longer than before. There was affection there, but something else too. Hunger, maybe. I should have stopped coming, but I didn't. Last night was the worst one. I got there late, almost midnight. The fog sat thick over the water, glowing faintly under the moonlight. I couldn't see her at first, which felt wrong. My chest tightened, that strange silence pressing in around me. Then, out of nowhere, I heard splashing. Violent, desperate splashing. "Help me. Please, help me." It was her voice, but raw and cracking. I ran to the edge of the water. She was thrashing near the center, her arms flailing. "They chained me," she screamed. "They shackled my ankles to the bottom. Please, I can't hold on much longer." Her words hit me like a punch. I could see her gasping, slipping under, fighting to stay above the surface. "I'm coming," I yelled. "Hold on." She was crying, choking, reaching out to me. "Please hurry," she sobbed. "Please. I'll get something to cut them. Just stay up." I turned and sprinted back through the trees, my boots slamming the dirt. My mind was racing. Who could have done that? Who would chain someone to a lake bed out here in the middle of nowhere? I didn't think about trespassing. I didn't think about danger. I just thought about saving her. The sound of her screams followed me all the way to my truck. I yanked open the toolbox in the back of my truck, grabbed the heavy bolt cutters, and ran. My breath came out in clouds, every inhale sharp against the cold air. The forest around me felt different, like it was watching. The crickets had gone silent. Even the wind had stopped moving through the trees. When I broke through the brush and reached the lake again, she was still there, struggling to stay above the surface. Her screams were weaker now, but the desperation was real. "Hang on," I shouted, shoving my boat into the water. Her head tilted toward me, eyes wide and terrified. "Please, hurry," she cried. "I can't feel my legs anymore." The oars cut through the water with quick, desperate strokes. My arms burned, my heart beat loud enough to drown everything else out. The moon hung straight above, white light spilling across the lake, like it was trying to show me what I was about to do. When I reached her, I could see it. Thick black chains wrapped around her ankles, vanishing into the depths below. They looked old, corroded, heavy enough to hold her down, even if she stopped struggling. "Oh my God," I breathed. "What the hell?" "Please," she whispered. "Please cut them. I can't breathe." I leaned over the side of the boat, careful not to tip it, and positioned the cutters on the first shackle. My hands trembled from adrenaline, the metal slick with lake water. I had to steady myself before squeezing down. The first attempt barely scratched it. I gritted my teeth and tried again, harder. The chain groaned but didn't give. She started sobbing, whispering to herself. "It hurts. It hurts so bad. Please, please." "Hold on," I said, tightening my grip. "Almost there." Her breathing slowed. She wasn't fighting anymore, just floating there, her head tilted back, eyes unfocused. For a second, I thought she was about to pass out. "Stay with me," I said. "I'm right here." Her lips trembled into a small smile. "I knew you'd come back for me," she said softly. Her voice had changed. The panic was gone. It was calmer now, deeper, almost soothing. It didn't sound like someone drowning. It sounded like someone in control. I blinked. "What?" "Go ahead, baby," she said in that same strange tone. "That's right. Cut the chain. You're doing so good. Keep going." Her words didn't sound like pleading anymore. They sounded like praise, like she was directing me. I shook it off and pressed harder on the handles. The metal finally snapped with a loud crack. The broken shackle fell away, sinking fast into the dark below. "One more," I panted. "Just one more and you're free." She didn't answer. She just watched me. Her face was expressionless, eyes locked on mine, pupils so wide they almost filled the whole iris. The reflection of the moon danced inside them, and for a moment, I thought I saw something move deep within. The water around her shifted, not from her body, but from below. A ripple spread outward, slow and deliberate, like something enormous had just stirred under the surface. I felt the chill crawl up my spine. "Finish it," she whispered. I swallowed hard and lined up the cutters on the second chain. My muscles screamed as I forced the blades closed. She leaned in close, whispering in that low, coaxing voice. "You're strong. Stronger than you know." The chain refused to snap, but I didn't stop. I put everything I had into it. My hand slipped, my shoulders shaking. "Almost there," she murmured. "Just one more push." The cutters squealed, one last time before the metal gave way. The second shackle broke free. I exhaled, chest heaving. The chains sank into the dark, swallowed whole. The water went still, and then she smiled. It started small, a twitch at the corner of her lips, before stretching wider and wider until it split her face unnaturally. The skin around her mouth strained, her cheeks cracking as that smile grew into something monstrous. Her eyes rolled back, turning black like the lake below us. Her neck arched, her chest rising as she let out a slow, rattling breath that didn't sound human. The air dropped to freezing in seconds. My breath came out white. Every instinct screamed at me to move, to run, but I couldn't. My muscles wouldn't listen. She wasn't the woman I had been talking to for weeks. She wasn't human at all. Something beneath the surface started rumbling, shaking the boat. The sound was deep, hollow, like the earth itself was groaning awake. The water began to glow faint red beneath her, swirling, boiling without heat. She lifted her head and looked at me with that stretched grin, her voice now echoing like it came from miles away. "Thank you." Before I could even process what I was seeing, a voice exploded from the tree line. "No." I whipped my head toward shore. A man with a flashlight and a radio was running full sprint through the brush. "She's free," he shouted. "She's free. Bring back up, now." I turned back to the woman, heart thundering in my chest. She was no longer floating. She was standing on the water. Not floating, not swimming, standing. The lake beneath her feet rippled slow, trembling as if it hated what it was holding up. Her body straightened, her hair falling flat against her shoulders. The glow from the moon bent around her, and for one heartbeat, everything fell silent. Then, she turned her head toward the tree line. Her grin widened. The skin around her mouth split deeper, tearing into the corners of her face. A sound poured out of her chest, a long, low moan that built into something unholy. It wasn't just one voice anymore. It was dozens layered together, crying, laughing, screaming, all at once. The man on the shore froze, light shaking in his hand. She moved. In an instant, she sprinted across the surface, every step kicking up perfect circles of water. She'd crossed the entire lake in seconds. The man fired his gun once before she hit him. I heard the snap of bones, the crunch of leaves, then nothing but wet tearing. I sat in the boat, paralyzed, breath locked in my chest. The water around me vibrated, faint ripples spreading outward from where she had been. Then, a tremor ran through the lake bed itself. The red glow beneath the surface pulsed once, like a heartbeat. The man's fallen radio crackled from the tree line. Unit 3, respond, status. Then, containment breach confirmed. Site 9 is active. All units converge. Repeat, all units converge. Headlights flared through the woods, engines roaring to life, and the night filled with shouting. Beams of light swept across the trees like searchlights. My body finally reacted. I dropped the bolt cutters and grabbed the oars, rowing toward shore as fast as my arms would move. Every splash sounded too loud. The boat scraped against the mud, and I jumped out, boots sinking deep into the cold shallows. The forest ahead flickered with light and movement. Voices shouted commands. Gunfire cracked in short bursts. I ran. Branches tore at my clothes as I sprinted through the trees, lungs burning, my mind repeating the same thing over and over. She isn't human. She isn't human. I broke through the brush into the clearing and almost collided with a soldier crouched behind a log. He spun toward me, rifle raised. Freeze. Don't shoot, I yelled, hands in the air. She's behind me. He didn't hesitate. He grabbed my jacket and yanked me down behind cover. Stay low, he said through gritted teeth. You have no idea what you just unleashed. Before I could answer, the woods behind us exploded in screams. Gunfire ripped through the night, lighting up the fog. I peeked over the log and saw her moving through the trees, her body twisting and bending like smoke. Every shot that hit her slowed her for only a second before the wound sealed shut. She wasn't attacking in rage. She was enjoying it. The soldier beside me grabbed my arm. Move! He pulled me toward a line of armored trucks, parked with their engines running. The forest echoed with orders, gunfire, and static. As we reached the vehicles, a voice barked over the radios. Containment breach confirmed. Visual on the entity. I repeat, visual on number 29. The name hit me like a punch. Number 29. They knew what she was. They had contained her here. And I had just let her out. The soldier threw me into the back of one of the trucks. Inside, red lights glowed dimly over crates and gear. Two men were already there, faces pale and sweating. One clutched a rifle, the other a bleeding shoulder. Outside, the sounds of the forest became chaos. Something heavy slammed into the side of the truck. The walls groaned. The driver yelled, "She's on us!" Gunfire erupted. Screams followed. "Go, go, go!" Someone shouted. The engine roared, and the truck lurched forward down the trail. I fell against the wall as the tires tore through mud. The radio blared nonstop. "She's airborne. Contact left. Contact left." She's moving faster than the vehicles. We bounced hard over the dirt, branches smashing the windshield. The driver swore, white-knuckled on the wheel. The windshield suddenly spiderwebbed inward. Something slammed into the front of the truck, claws slicing through the roof. The driver screamed as he was ripped out through the glass. The vehicle swerved, hit a tree, and rolled onto its side. The impact knocked the air from my lungs. The world spun in flashes of red and white. Someone opened the rear door and shouted for me to move. I crawled out, dazed, the smell of fuel and blood thick in the air. "She's still out there," someone yelled. Gunfire cracked through the trees again. I turned just in time to see her gliding through the fog. Her body was slick with water, her grin wide and stretched. Her eyes glowed faint white now, and every movement she made was slow, deliberate, almost graceful. Bullets tore through her, but the holes closed instantly. She walked through the gunfire like it was nothing. One soldier rushed her with a blade, screaming, and she caught him mid-stride. The sound that followed didn't belong in this world. The soldier beside me yanked my arm again. "Move," he shouted. "Get to the second truck." We ran. I could hear her behind us, that sound of water slapping against dirt as she moved. The second armored truck was backing up fast, its headlights cutting through the fog. The door opened and a man waved us over. "Get in, now." We dove inside. The door slammed shut and the engine howled. The truck tore down the dirt trail. Inside, everyone was breathing hard, adrenaline pouring off them. The man beside me glanced at me, voice low and furious. "Do you have any idea what you did?" I didn't answer. "I couldn't. That lake wasn't cursed," he said. "It was containment. She was sealed under it for decades." I stared blankly out the front window. The forest blurred by in streaks of dark and light. The radio hissed, then came alive with a voice heavy with static and fear. "All units be advised. Entity number 29 has breached perimeter. Repeat, number 29 is free." The words sent a shiver down my spine. Nobody spoke after that. The only sound was the engine and the hollow thump of my heartbeat. Then, faintly, from behind us, came the sound of water. Not a stream, not rain, the slow ripple of waves. I looked into the rearview mirror. She was standing in the middle of the road, illuminated by the red taillights, that impossible grin still carved across her face. Her eyes glowed faintly, watching us leave. We kept driving, faster, deeper into the woods. But she didn't fade from sight. Her reflection stayed there in the glass, smiling back. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to Descent into the Unknown for more horror content. If you have any real cryptid encounters, or you're a horror writer wanting to share your stories, please feel free to email me in the description anytime.